Welcome to Caldwell County Today. I'm Paige Counts, Public Information Officer for Caldwell County. Joining me today is Lisa Cavness from Amorem.
Hi, Paige.
Welcome, Lisa. We're going to talk about something that is vital to Amorem, well, in my opinion.
Well, in mine too. It's very vital.
Job openings.
We do. We have quite a few job openings right now. Just like most of the rest of healthcare in our nation right now is an issue. And we're having some of those same issues. We have some nursing positions open, certified nursing assistants, medical social workers, full and part-time, and at multiple campuses. We have some openings in Hudson, in Lenore, a few in the High Country, not as many up there, and then some in Valdez, which is our newest campus. And in addition to the clinical, there's some HR positions, human resources, grief support, a chaplain. So there's a little bit for everybody.
It really does take a team effort to make hospice run, like any organization.
Absolutely, but hospice especially, and I know you know this, it operates as a team. Each patient has their own individual team that focuses on their specific needs.
Let's talk about the nurses, CNAs, and medical social workers. I'm going to kind of group all those together because that is part of the patient team.
Right.
Right now, do you have positions for both the patient care unit and those who go out into the community?
We do. We have both. And in the patient care unit, there are positions for the daytime shift as well as the nighttime shift. So there's some of both. And then home care as well.
So really everywhere. And I know you're not a nurse. You and I have similar backgrounds. So, but for a nurse or a medical social worker, when you're visiting a home, that's a very intimate setting.
Absolutely.
And you get a lot of opportunity to know the patient as well as their family.
Their families, yes you do. And they're inviting you in, not only into their home, but into their lives at a very intimate time, a vulnerable time. And so you really do end up feeling like part of the family many times.
And I'll ask the question that I think hospice employees, hospice volunteers get often. Isn't it sad?
Well, sometimes it is sad. It's hard to lose people that you've grown to love. But the upside to that is it is so fulfilling to know that you made a difference in the life of that patient and gave them a better quality of life, a better death, and that you've helped that family in ways that you probably don't even realize.
And another thing I think is different from maybe care in a hospital setting or even in a doctor's office. Hospice nurses, medical social workers, CNAs seem to have more time with their patients.
They do. There's much more time at the bedside, a hospice patient may not be bedbound until the very end, but they're with them. They walk on that journey with them, and you do have more time. There's not that same quota like oftentimes in a medical practice. They've got appointments booked back to back to back. And we've got appointments booked too, but we allow a lot more time, and if it takes longer, it takes longer.
I know we've listed jobs here. Are there any special skills required? I mean, I know a nurse, there's a set of skills for that, and a medical social worker, but anything else you're looking for?
Well, aside from like the educational credentials that are required, and those are all listed on our website in the specific job postings, just a desire to care for people and to love on people and make a difference. And it makes a difference in the lives of the patients and families, and I've worked with hospice now for over 10 years. And I'm not clinical, but even I see it in them, but I even see it in my part of our team. It makes a difference in you, in us.
So it really has the potential to be a life-changing job.
Absolutely.
And at one point in my career, I was in your position.
That's right.
And I always felt like the people who came and stayed, for them, it was a calling.
I agree.
They found that being with people at the end of their life was a true calling and something that, they were there to do, and they knew that was what they were supposed to do with their careers.
Mm-hmm. And I've talked to several of our nurses especially. In fact, one just earlier this week that said, I never thought I was a hospice nurse. I was a nurse, and that was not the area of nursing that interested me. But a door opened up, and I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. And she said, I wish I'd done it all along. She said it fit, and in a way that she didn't expect. So, and she was encouraging the group she was talking with to take a look at hospice and palliative as well.
Right, and not only take a look at hospice, but you've had a long history of being a good place to work.
We have. We were very grateful to have been voted for multiple years as one of the best places to work in Caldwell County, as well as several counties in the High Country, Watauga and Avery, in their surveys, like we have Best of Caldwell. And we've even been named in the Catawba County surveys. So that's something that we don't take lightly. We're very proud of that.
And also, if you notice in those surveys, because I read those, and I notice that typically you will have a hospice nurse listed as multiple nurses. In the nurses, social workers,
right.
In those categories, which I think says a lot about the impact your staff is making on people's lives.
I agree. And there are great nurses that work in like medical practices and hospitals, but you're with them for a short amount of time, and with hospice, you're with them for a longer journey and are able to really get to know them and know the needs, and makes a difference.
It does make a difference, because I would wager there are people watching this who, if their family has been served by hospice, they can tell you who their hospice nurse was, their medical social worker, the doctor that served them, and probably even something about those people.
Absolutely. I posted a photo of one of our CNAs on Facebook, well, all our social media earlier this week, and I was looking yesterday at some of the comments people had put, and they said, oh, I remember you took care of my mom when she died 28 years ago. And it was a very strong connection there. And there were multiple comments like that. Oh, she took care of my dad. She took care of it. She was so good. And that's a blessing for us to be able to provide that. But, think what that does, how you feel when you see what you're able to do.
And the lasting impact you leave. But the other thing you said was 28 years ago. That's quite a career to be in one place.
It is.
And you've got several employees with longevity.
We do. We have quite a bit of longevity there. And we've been here almost 4 decades. So that's a lot.
That's a lot, and that makes me feel very old, because I worked there when we celebrated maybe the 25th anniversary. So that is a lot.
It is a lot.
But right now, you do have a campaign going on to attract applicants.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, our name is Amorem, which is Latin for the act of love. And that's why we chose the name, because when Burke Hospice and Caldwell Hospice joined together, because we felt like we could do more together, we needed a name. We couldn't be Burke and Caldwell Hospice. So that was a long search to come up with a name. But when we came upon Amorem, we thought, that's it, because that describes what we do. It is an act of love. And when you do this type of work, you understand that it's an act of love. And so the campaign came out of that, and my job is an act of love, because all of our staff can say that. I'm not clinical. I'm in our public relations area, but I feel like my job is an act of love, because I'm helping communicate to people what we can offer them at a time, hopefully before they need us, so that when they do need us, they're aware that we're here and what we can do to help them. But we focus on a lot of different staff members and how they feel about that and what they say, how their job is an act of love.
And throughout the show, we're going to be showing some of those ads, but I looked through the ones you printed for me, and I know all three of these people. Two of them I worked with. One, Crystal Birch, as we were talking before we started shooting, I believe she started at hospice when she was like 5.
Yes, they've raised her.
They have raised her. I mean, literally, she's done a lot of different jobs. Now she's volunteer support specialist.
That's what she is. And she does a great job at that.
She does a great job, but to read their comments and hear what people say about working at hospice, I would encourage people, if you want to apply to hospice, maybe talk to somebody who's already there. Some of
Absolutely.
these folks who, they are very sincere.
They do. And I think it says a lot that they've been there that long.
And another one these are just a few that Lisa shared with me. Chuck Crisp, who's now a nurse practitioner, he started as a nurse and went back to school while working at hospice.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a pretty amazing story to go back to school while doing a pretty demanding career. In my opinion, it's a very demanding career. Lisa, what would you say as a hospice employee to someone who's considering applying to hospice?
I would say it's a great place to work. And I think my job is more than just a job. It's, I feel like I'm a part of a team on a mission. And we're a team working together for that mission to support patients and families, to give them a higher quality of life. And it's hard sometimes, just like any job's hard sometimes, but it is so worth it. And I would encourage you to visit our website and go to the careers page. There's some testimonials there too from some of our team as to why they work there, why they choose to work there and stay. But there's job listings and you can see more details of what's available. In addition to clinical, there's some other things available too. So I encourage you to take a look, and I don't think you'll regret it.
Well, I'm going to ask you, what brought you to hospice and what keeps you at hospice?
Well, that's an easy one for me to answer. My background is in graphic design and marketing, and I've done a wide variety of things. But if I look back at my career before I came to hospice, there was a lot of ministry-based clients and a lot of healthcare-based clients. And I was working freelance, and I called a different hospice. It wasn't this one. Just a cold call because I was, soliciting work, and they said, "Well, we're looking for a marketing coordinator, and I'll save your information for them. They may be interested." And I said, "Well, tell me about that." And the more they talked, I thought, this is me. And so I said, "Well, I might be interested in that." And so we talked, and I was hired there, and I worked there part-time, and it was in a neighboring county. And then when the position opened up at Caldwell Hospice, I talked to them and came here, and it's been great because the ministry and the healthcare blended together. I thought that is hospice. It's because we serve the whole patient, and that's spiritually as well as physically and emotionally and in every way. And it just was all that together, and all my background. It gave me an opportunity to do the things that were important to me.
And I think that's true.
Yeah.
And
a decade later, I'm still doing it. That's surprising to say that. That's a long time.
It is a long time to work at one place.
Yeah. But it's worth it.
Well, Lisa, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for telling us about the job opportunities available at hospice.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, if you're looking for a job, definitely consider Amorem. And thank you for watching Caldwell County Today.